right, everyone. Many of you know that Brendan Straka from the WalkAway campaign was arrested for being at the Capitol on January 6th yesterday. This happened around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and a lot of people have been haranguing me for not only to check in to see if I got arrested too, but they've also been haranguing me for what I think about what happened. I did not make any real statement about it yesterday, apart from saying that I don't know what happened because I wasn't with Brandon at the Capitol, and apparently many of you have construed that as Carlin's trying to distance herself from Brandon. No, guys. No. Stating the fact that I was not physically with Brandon at the Capitol is simply stating the fact that I literally wasn't physically with him at the Capitol. I did not see him in person the entire time we were in DC. We did talk on the phone that night, but we didn't actually see each other, so I had no idea what happened. Also, I wasn't really feeling well yesterday, and so it wasn't really like I wasn't investigating every detail and nuance of what happened with Brandon at the Capitol. But this morning I did. This morning I got up, and one of the first things I did was I found actual primary source video that Brandon took at the Capitol, and now I feel like I have a significantly better sense of what happened, and I will be reacting to this article covering the incident from the New York Post to give what I think is my perception of what happened here. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I have not vetted any of this with Brandon or the WalkAway team or Brandon's lawyers. I'm sure Brandon's lawyers are going to tell him to shut the hell up for a little while. This is me offering my opinion and my perspective on what I witnessed in the video that I will link in the description below, because of course if I tried to play the video in this video for you, I'm sure YouTube would like ban me, or I get a strike or something, or they take the video down. So I'm not going to play the actual video. I will link it in the description below. You can go watch it for yourself and make your own choice. Now, the first thing I want to say, even before I jump in and read this article, is many of you know this, but many of you watching this probably don't. I actually traveled with Brandon and the WalkAway team for like 6 months in the back half of 2020. We started traveling around doing rallies in like June, and I mean, we were doing rallies almost every single week for the entire rest of the year. They were called Rescue America rallies. It was basically against the COVID lockdowns and also trying to get people to walk away from the Democrats before the election, and actually, honestly, after the election as well. That is a constant, ongoing mission. So I feel like I know Brandon pretty well. And I know, I thought yesterday when the charges came out, I was like, there's something wrong about this whole scenario. But again, I wasn't ready to comment on it until I actually watched the videos. All right, let's see what the New York Post has to say. Conservative activist from NYC charged in Capitol riot. Okay. Brandon doesn't live in New York. He did live in New York. He has not lived in New York for a while. And he's not from New York originally. So New York Post, you might want to be a little bit better about fact checking, because he's not from New York now and he hasn't lived there in a while. A conservative activist from New York who made headlines over the summer for refusing to wear a mask on American Airlines was arrested Monday in connection with the U.S. Capitol riot. Brandon Straka, 44, was charged with impeding police during civil disorder, knowingly entering and remaining on restricted grounds, and disorderly conduct, court documents show. All right, so what they basically charged him with is so to be really clear, they are not alleging that Brandon went in the Capitol. And this was the first thing that tipped me off that this was really weird, because I know Brandon didn't go in the Capitol. Brandon and I talked about it that night. I called him even a couple weeks ago when they started arresting people, and I was like, thank God neither of us went in that building, because they're trying to destroy these people's lives. And he was like, I know. I knew he didn't go in the Capitol, and they are not even charging him with going in the Capitol. He was standing around outside like tens of thousands of other people. A self-described former liberal, Straka is the most famous for founding the WalkAway campaign to encourage people to leave the Democratic Party. FBI agents say that Straka, who spoke at a Stop the Steal rally the day before the January 6th riot, was part of a mob of Trump supporters pushing towards a Capitol doorway during the siege. That's not what I saw in the video. What I saw in the video, and this is actually what Brandon had described to me before, is he walked up the stairs and there were people entering through an open door. That is literally what I saw depicted in this video. He walked up the stairs and there were people entering through an open door. Now, there was apparently a bottleneck of people, and so I think he was I did not perceive there to be like pushing and shoving to try to get in the door. I mean, it's like any rally, right? It's like any freaking rock concert. I mean, there are lots of people milling about, but I didn't view what I saw in the video as him like really charging his way in there. He was like standing around outside of an open door. While the charging document doesn't say that Strzok actually went inside the building, they're literally not charging him with going in the building. They're admitting he didn't go in the building. It does cite a video he recorded in which he egged rioters to force their way inside. Go, go, Strzok yelled before saying, I want to try, according to the affidavit. That's not what happened in the video. That's not what happened. What I saw in the video was he said, even like way before he even got to the door, he was walking up the stairs saying, oh, we're going inside. It was kind of like, it was like he was obviously quite a distance away from the door. He was like, oh, they're letting us in. We're going inside. It wasn't that he was like, go, 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 go. That was not what happened in the video. Anyone can watch this. This is not even hard. This was like, oh, okay, they're letting people inside. That was how I read it anyway. As a Capitol police officer attempted to make his way through the mob and a riot shield over his head, Strzok allegedly urged others, take it away from him. Take the shield. Take it. Take it. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I read the charges yesterday and I read this part where they were saying that Brandon was telling people to take a police officer's shield, that was honestly the most concerning part to me. And I was like, that doesn't sound like something Brandon would do. But I was like, did he actually do that? I'm going to admit there was actually a question in my mind. I was like, I know that Brandon can get extremely passionate about things, but I didn't really think that sounded like him at all. Now, when I watched the video this morning, I know it wasn't him. It 100% wasn't him. It was not his voice. It was 100% not Brandon Strzok's voice. Listen, the video they're talking about was him holding his own phone. First off, when you're holding your own phone, your voice is going to show up much louder than all the other voices around you, which is proof of other times Brandon was speaking during this video. His voice was significantly louder than the other voices around him. But even if that wasn't the case, the person yelling, take the shield, had a good octave on Brandon. It was 100% not his voice. I have listened back to the video many, many times this morning. That was my first gut reaction. That's not him. That's not him talking. But I listened back to it many times. No, absolutely was not him. It was someone standing near him, but it wasn't him. And by the way, he was not whoever yelled it, because it was not Brandon, he was not the only one yelling, take the shield. There were other people around yelling, take the shield. So I think they're going to have a really difficult time proving that one in court, because that was provably not Brandon Strzok's voice. He didn't yell that. I would bet all the money in my bank account on that particular thing. The FBI says Strzok was wearing the same coat he had on during the rally at Freedom Plaza in Washington, D.C. the day before, in which he called the audience patriots and repeatedly referred to revolution. He wasn't saying violent revolution. Brandon has never preached for violent revolution. He does not believe in that. Strzok told attendees to fight back and ended by saying, we are sending a message to the Democrats. We are not going away. You've got a problem. He doesn't. I don't even know why we need to specify this. Like every single person during the course of a political fight is going to say, you have to fight back. You have to stand up for what you believe in. That does not mean violent overthrow of the government. Literally almost every person campaigning in the history of ever has said something like that. And listen, he was very passionate in that speech the day before at Freedom Plaza. I'll give him that. He even was like, well, I'm not going to say that. Like he said something after. He's like, I didn't even know what I was going to say when I got up there, but I was just yelling. I was just passionate. That's what it was. It was a spectacle. It was meant to fire people up. It was not meant to incite violence, and he didn't pursue violence or encourage violence in any way, shape, or form. The FBI also cited several of Strzok's tweets about the riot, including one appearing to criticize people who were denying that they had been there. Also, be embarrassed and hide if you have to, but I was there, he wrote on January 6th, according to the affidavit. So what? So were tens of thousands of other people. So were however many people all summer long, for months and months and months, when there were protests and riots all around the country. I completely agree with Brandon on this point. I don't think that most of the people at the Capitol on January 6th have a single thing to be ashamed of. If people were there and they were peacefully standing up for what they believe in, and most people were there for a scheduled, permitted rally, I don't think people have a thing to be sorry about. And I don't think that people should be throwing these tens of thousands of people under the bus. It was not Antifa at the Capitol. It was freedom-loving patriots who were desperate to fight for the hope of our republic. Everyone else can denounce them. I will not. I feel the same way. I will not denounce anyone that was peacefully protesting, that was standing up for their First Amendment rights. I'm not talking about people who were engaging in violence. I'm not talking about people who went in the Capitol and destroyed things. I'm talking about people who were standing outside chanting USA, USA, USA. And again, I'm going to be very clear. This is the media's fault, and this is the fault of the freaking Democratic establishment who let riots and looting and these massive protests go on for months while saying, well, people are just going to do what they're going to do, never denounced any of the violence at all. And then you have a group of people that's been emotionally abused by every major institution in this country for years, and they go to protest on the Capitol to stand up for what they want, to demand that their representatives hear their voice. This is the thing you're going to denounce, but you're not going to denounce the months and months and months and months and months of goddamn rioting? This is the media's fault. You have a group of people that were watching this unfold on the news. These were higher information people than your average Democrat voters. Were watching these protests and riots for months on the news with no repercussions, no one getting arrested, everyone who maybe was detained let out of jail with no charges. This is the media's creation. This right here, and this is the fault of the Democrats who didn't denounce anything. I completely agree with Brandon on this. If you don't want people to show up and protest, then don't let it go on for months and months and months and months and months and months and months without saying anything. Straka, who was arrested in Nebraska on Monday, didn't immediately return a request for comments. It was unclear whether he has an attorney. So, listen, I don't know that much about the situation right now. I have not talked to Brandon. I will tell you the WalkAway team is talking with him. He is fine. They are going to set him up with lawyers. Everything's going to be taken care of, and I'm sure they will announce more information when they have it. But I wanted to come on because you guys are badgering me to talk about this. That's a horrible that is like a horrible picture of him, by the way. But again, I just want to reiterate my support for him. Now that I've seen the video, I knew something was fishy beforehand, but now that I've actually seen the video, I 100% will say Brandon Straka did not do anything wrong. Brandon didn't go inside the building. He did not encourage people to take the shield of a police officer. Anyone who listens to the video that has ever heard Brandon talk knows that was 100% not his voice. And I don't believe he encouraged people to charge into the Capitol either, because what I heard him say was like, well, people are going, the door's open, people are going in. That's more of like a statement of like, oh, they're letting people in the building. It wasn't like, go, 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 go. That's not what it was like. Again, I will link the video in the description below. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous arrest. The only reason this happened was because he's a high-profile person and they're trying to make an example out of him. I will not turn my back on him. I will not denounce him in any way because he did not do anything wrong. And anyone that says he does, I'm sorry, you're either a liar, you have a motive of some sort, or you just don't have the balls to stand your ground when other people are standing up and fighting for you, which is what that man has been doing for the last 2 goddamn years. So I fully support him. He is a dear friend. I know that he's strong enough to get through this, and I know that he will have the very best lawyers to be able to fight back against this. And I think the him being arrested in the first place is really sad and really pathetic. And it just shows exactly what's going on here. He's being made an example of because he's a high-profile person. And that's it. End of conversation. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this video. I'll see you soon.